Good morning.
Morning. Aloha.
Hello.
We'll go ahead
Morning.
and call to order the regular session of the Yuma County Board of Supervisors, also sitting as all special taxing district. Board members on December 16, 2024, 9 a.m. Board members will be attending either in person, by telephone, or remotely via electronic. We're all here. Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Lines to lead us.
Please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We'll go ahead and move on to call to the public. Call to the public is held for public benefit to allow individuals to address issues within the board's jurisdiction. Board members may not discuss items that are not specifically identified in the agenda, therefore pursuant to Arizona Revised Statute 38-431.01H, action taken as a result of public comment will be limited to directing staff to study the matter, responding to criticism, or scheduling the matter for further discussion and decision at a future date. Public comments may be made in person or submitted by email at publiccomments@yumacountyaz.gov. The email forms of public comments will be accepted until 8 a.m. the morning of the meeting. All public comments will be read out loud during the Yuma County Board of Supervisors meeting that starts at 9 a.m. That's right. Or yeah, any emails?
Yes, we received an email from Teresa Fox that reads, I am unable to attend Yuma County Attorney John Smith's last statutory board meeting, so I appreciate the opportunity to do so during the call of the public. I want to thank John Smith for his dedication to the Yuma community. John Smith is not only a selfless leader, but he is the epitome of a true public servant. As county attorney, he focused and succeeded on delivering justice fairly and cost effectively for Yuma taxpayers. His patience and professionalism was only surpassed by his intelligence and analytical mind. John Smith never changed his opinion because he knew it would not be welcomed or unpopular, or if his friends or constituents would be disappointed or angry. It didn't matter what was easiest or least objectionable. He followed his conscience and did what was right for Yuma County. The foundation of John Smith's advice and opinions to Yuma County were always based on the law and what was in the best interest of Yuma County. Thank you, John, for your service.
No more emails?
Is this from his mom or what?
We'll never get him out the door.
Anybody else from the public that wishes to address the board? Seeing none, I'm bringing back to the board and move on to presentations, proclamations, and appointments. In this segment of the agenda, board members may discuss the presentations and proclamations and may announce appointments to the Yuma County Planning and Zoning Commission and the Yuma County Board of Adjustments. No legal action will be taken. Is there any Board of Adjustment appointments or Planning and Zoning Commission? We'll move on to item number 1. And recognition of John Smith for his dedication and years of service as county attorney. And I know we have some,
I'll do this one at a time.
Or
The check's in the mail. In the apartment. Oh, direct deposit. It's in the direct deposit.
well, you know, John, I just want to say that thank you for your years of service. It's you've been here quite a while, and that's good. I mean, sad to see you go, but thank you for all your service, for your years of service. Anybody else?
I'm not too sad.
Yeah.
I know I'll be seeing him again. Oh, thank you, John. I mean,
Mr.
there was a stabilizing force here all the time, and it was you.
I don't have a PowerPoint either.
Mr.
I said
Chair,
stabilizing, don't do
Mr.
nothing.
Chair? I have to say, John was one of my students when I first
Oh.
started teaching.
That's right, at Woodard.
At
She was
Woodard.
Miss Blair back then.
Yeah, I was.
I just want to thank all of you. This is an honor to be recognized in this way. And all the support and the team work we did together. I think we accomplished a lot of good things. I think we left it, at least I hope it, we left it in a better position than it was when I came in. I certainly want to thank the community for entrusting me with this responsibility. I never took it for granted. Technically, yesterday was my really true retirement day because I started a couple years early, if some of you will recall. And so I informed my wife if something happens to me between now and then.
She's okay no matter
That was
what.
probably not a good idea. And I said, if that's what she wants, that's what she gets.
Oh.
But truly, I've got to work with so many great people in the county. This is a truly wonderful place to work because of you guys and all of us working together. Calculated, I've been to probably over 660 board meetings.
Oh, my goodness.
I've been through about, I think I calculated close to 12 or 15 supervisors, 5 different makeup boards, 5 county administrators, 3 presiding judges, 2 clerks of the court, 3 clerks of the court.
That explains all the gray hair.
On and on. And
That is
it's just
disturbing.
been a great journey, and I'm glad everybody was part of it. I wish I could recognize them as individuals, but I just don't have the time.
Well,
Lastly, I just want to thank, she's not here, but my wife. She really has been a strong pillar of support for me. We fretted over the bad stuff. We celebrated the good stuff, you know, and together we raised 3 great kids during that period. And I think I should thank them as well because it took some time away from them as well. So with that, thank you for the recognition. I wish everybody the best in the years ahead. I'll try not to be too much of a stranger. If I do come by, it'll be for good reasons. And thank you again.
Thank you, John.
Thanks, John.
thank you, John.
You do this, and let me read this, what it says. In recognition and appreciation of your dedicated service, Yuma County, 2004 to 2024.
Oh, my gosh.
They'll print anything in there.
We don't see the sheriff's office. We haven't always agreed, but
I'm glad I don't have a wall to hang it on any longer, at least after 2 weeks, but I'll do it in the living room. Thank you. I'm gonna miss you guys too.
It was actually-
Here we go in.
Moving on to item number 2, recognition of Angela Moreno for her dedication and years of service as county treasurer. And we have her here.
Wow, how do I follow John? So I'll keep it short and sweet, and I want to say thank you to Yuma County, everyone I've worked with. It has been such an honor to serve all of our citizens in Yuma County, and I appreciate everything. Thank you.
Angela, thank you. You know, I think you probably started before I did here with the county, but you know, what at least what I've heard from many residents is that you made it a lot easier for them to pay their taxes with all the changes you have made. Thank you for that, because it really matters to the residents. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I want to say anytime I had a question or a concern, you took the time to sit down and explain it and help me understand it, and I can't thank you enough for that.
You know, it's been said that the largest compliments anyone can give is you always leave it better than when you got in, and I can attest to that.
Yeah.
You left that treasure better than it was. And I always felt confident that everything was okay, because you were there, and your tenacity, your hard work and dedication to that job, I know you had it, and I felt that while I was serving on this board. And I just want to thank you for your service and your time. The time you put up, it's not gonna be, you're gonna be missed. That's probably the biggest compliment I can make you. You will be missed.
I have one more comment to make. The investments that you have made for Yuma County have made it so that we are secure and safe, and that we have we have money to fall back on if the economy goes south. And you have worked tirelessly. Elected officials only have to spend 3 days a month at the job, and you have spent weekends and nights and early mornings and have dedicated yourself to the position of treasurer, and I'm very proud.
Thank you so much.
Move on to item number 3. Recognition of Victoria Clarkson for her dedication years of service as county assessor. She's not here today, huh?
Correct, Mr. Chairman. Assessor Clarkson is unable to join us this morning.
I mean, we just want to wish her the best and thank you for her years of service here. Anybody else? No? Moving on to item number 4, recognition of Richard Colwell for his dedication and years of service as county recorder. Rick, and he's here.
There's not too many years of service under that belt. I feel like a baby in this group. But I do want to thank you for having the confidence in me back in July of 2022 to put me into the office. Thank you, especially the county staff. Ian, you've been an enormous help, and I do appreciate it. But my greatest thanks go to my employees. Robin left me with a good crew, and a leader's only as good as the people who follow him or her. And I have some amazing ladies and gentlemen in my office, and it's been an adventure.
Well, Rick, I just want to thank you for stepping up. You know,
Yes.
when we needed someone, and you stepped in. You didn't know what you were getting into. But thanks for doing that. Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to add my thanks. You took on a job that is not easy, and you really kind of made it yours, but you worked with everybody so close, and like I said, probably one of the hardest elections we've had in a while, this last one. And just want to compliment you on the job you did, and your entire staff, everybody, you guys did.
Thank you.
And I just want to say that of all the departments, the ones who normally an elected official worry most about is the court of office. In this case, it wasn't that case. I think we put the department in the hands of a good guy, a very well-traveled, well-known guy, and that you met all my expectations and more. So to me, again, the biggest task, and I know it's tough to say it after an election that we've had, but you did leave it better than you found it. And you worked hard at it to make sure that it worked. So thank you very much for your service, and I'm see you soon.
See you. Thanks.
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you.
I have to tell you, you came in at a very difficult time and you didn't take any guff from anybody, and all those deniers and suspicious and all those folks just disappeared. And they disappeared because you wouldn't just give them any kind of,
Sometimes I had to.
yeah, any platform. And didn't, and you did a very good job of getting the recorder's office and getting it, you know, all those death threats and things like that seemed to go away. So
I was lucky I didn't get any.
well, they knew you carry a gun. So anyway. Anyway, yeah. Well, anyway, thank you. Thank you so much, Richard.
This is direct deposit stuff. Until you fix the mail.
What check is that?
Yeah. Where's that?
Moving on to item number 5, presentation of El Condado, informado by Yuma 77, the Yuma County Government Channel.
Bienvenidos al Condado Informado. Hoy tenemos un programa muy especial para usted. Hoy vamos a estar hablando de aquellos mapas, que tanto mira usted, que dice, ¿de dónde viene tanto mapas? Y para ayudarnos a entender un poquito de esta información tenemos a Isabel. Isabel, bienvenida al programa del Condado Informado. Cuéntanos en dónde trabajas, qué haces y explícanos un poquito más de eso, que aquellos son los mapas.
Yo trabajo para el Sistema de Información Geográfica del Condado de Yuma y nosotros estamos aquí para asistir todos los departamentos que tengan alguna necesidad, ya sea tan básica como un mapa o alguna aplicación web que quieran que nosotros implementemos para ellos.
Ok, entonces de mapas para todos los departamentos y para el público, un poquito de información para el público que hace el Departamento de Información Geográfica.
También tenemos una aplicación web vía en el internet. Lo único que ocupan es tener un acceso a una computadora. Ahí tenemos el 90% de la información geográfica, donde le damos acceso al público a que hagan busquen cualquier información que tengan acerca de su propiedad.
Y eso incluye que como información de pies cuadrados, dilos un poquito de qué información incluye en esa aplicación.
Ahí pueden buscar sus dimensiones de su lote, información de zonificación, si quieren saber qué tienen a sus alrededores, si quieren saber información de los dueños, toda esa información está incluida ahí en la aplicación.
Y esa es información muy importante porque uno de vez en cuando se pregunta así como, ay, no me acuerdo qué tan grande es mi lote, o siempre he querido saber cuánto cuesta ese lote, o pues esos letreros que se miran en veces y que uno dice, traigo muchas ganas de saber qué tan grande está ese lote. Ustedes se encargan de dar esa información vía el internet, ¿verdad? Ok, muy bien. Ahora, ¿alguna otra cosa que quieras decirle al público? ¿Cómo pueden contactarlos ustedes? ¿Qué información ocupan para saber más de estos lotes, de estos mapas?
Pues cualquier departamento en sí nos puede contactar si ellos tienen curiosidad o quieren saber si nosotros podemos hacer alguna aplicación para ellos, nomás ocupan contactarnos y nosotros tenemos alguna junta con ellos y vemos si podemos darles alguna clase de ayuda.
Y para el público, si tienen preguntas, si tienen dudas que quieran confirmar, también pueden hablarle a ustedes o cómo se comunican con el Departamento de Información Geográfica.
Sí, nosotros tenemos un número de teléfono donde ellos pueden marcar y nosotros les damos cualquier clase de información.
Perfecto, pues muchas gracias, Isabel. Y ahí lo tienen, si tienen preguntas de su lote, si tienen pregunta de algún mapa del condado de Yuma, se pueden meter a nuestra página de web, yumacountyaz.gov, GIS Department, que es el Departamento de Información Geográfica. Muchas gracias y nos vemos luego.
We'll move on to consent calendar. The following items listed under the consent agenda will be considered as a group and acted upon by one motion with no separate discussion unless board members so request. In that event, the items will be removed from the consent calendar for separate discussion and action.
Chairman, does anybody have any items they want to bring up?
1 till 16.
Okay, well, I'll make a motion, we approve consent items 1 through 19 with the exception of 16.
I'll second that motion.
There's a motion and a second to approve items 1 to 19, with exception 16. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 16, engineering. Adopt and authorize the chairman to sign resolution number 2024-36.
I wasn't going to let you off the end of the year that easy, so I just had a question. This Phoenix Road, is that the one that runs along the mesa?
Yes,
More or less?
It starts off, Chairman Porches, members of the board, it starts off just northeast of the town of Welton and heads east across all them farmland and connects up to Avenue 36E.
Okay, but it's mainly that, it's a field road if I remember. I just want to make sure.
There is no road, it's just a road on paper.
All right, that's just my question. I just wanted to verify on that. Okay, with that, I'll make a motion to approve item 16 as presented.
Okay.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second to approve item number 16 as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Frank. Moving on to items, discussion and action items. The board will open each of the following items separately for discussion and action as appropriate. Item number 1, elect the Yuma County Board of Supervisors Chairman for calendar year 2025.
I move that we elect Martine Porches for chairman.
There's a motion and a second.
What if I wanted to?
Okay.
Do we need to,
You need any more nominations?
I move to close nomination.
Yeah, if you do a nomination, usually you don't have to second it.
I know.
It's moving to, so if you want to close nominations, then you'll call the issue on the sole nomination.
Move to close nomination.
Second it.
There you go.
there's a motion and a second to elect Martin Porches as chairman for the Yuma County Board of Supervisors, year 2025. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Do we have to vote on the closure first?
I'm sorry?
Don't we have to vote on the
Close.
close motion? Yeah, the closure motion.
To close your motion and then, yes.
But there was I made a motion and she seconded to close nominations. Don't we have to
Yeah.
vote on that one?
And then-
And then we just.
And then we vote on the,
If you like, Mr. Chairman, we could have the clerk of the board conduct this.
That'll be, yeah.
So you've got the motion, you've got the nomination.
Mhm.
So this would be-
I don't think she was.
I
supposed to-
apologize, I wasn't paying attention.
But,
Right.
yeah.
So there was a nomination.
yeah, that you haven't been around.
We said that we needed a motion to close.
Floor is to close nominations.
So we have to take a vote on that.
Now we're, yes, now we vote on you.
So is there a motion to close nomination?
I did.
Okay, there's a,
Yes, promotion in a second, so that was.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Now we,
You vote on the nomination.
Okay, now we approve it.
So, there's a motion to approve or elect, Martin Porches Board of, Chairman for the Board of Supervisors, the year 2025. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And there's a second, so.
Item number 2, elect the Yuma County Board of Supervisors Vice Chairman for calendar year 2025.
Make a motion that we elect the same, not Martin Porches, but
Mr. Chairman, you have a
Jonathan Lang?
nomination process.
Nomination, that's the nomination, yeah.
Nominate.
I nominate, what's your name again, Jonathan? Jonathan Line.
I'll
As the vice
second.
chair.
There's a nomination to elect Supervisor Lyons to Vice Chairman for calendar year 2025. Any second?
You need a second. What I'm gonna do is a motion to close nominations.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second to close nominations. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No.
Let's take a vote on it.
No, yeah.
Okay, so now is there all those in favor to appoint Vice Chairman Supervisor Lyons to year 2025? Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
There you go.
Moving on to item number 3. Chairman will appoint board members to serve on the following boards of commissions for the calendar year 2025. Item A, Chamber of Commerce Legislative Affairs Committee. And who do we have?
Me.
Who does that?
Me. Mhm, I'll be running them, so, yeah,
Okay. You're okay?
I am.
Okay. So, You'll
And
continue that.
Jonathan is alternate.
alternate, okay? Chamber of Commerce Transportation Committee,
Who's doing this?
who does that?
I have been.
You wanna do it?
No, I can't, I don't have time.
Mm.
This CSA president stuff is gonna take a
Who's
long
gonna
time.
serve when the YMPO start? Do you have-
Darren is.
Okay, well, Darren then.
Yeah.
Will you do transportation?
Yeah, I'll do.
Well, Darren will.
I can do transportation.
Yeah, you might as well do both.
Okay,
Thank you, Darren.
Mm-hmm.
so we'll have Aaron, Supervisor Simmons doing Chamber of Commerce Transportation Committee. Item number C, County Supervisors Association Legislative Policy Committee.
That's me.
And I'm
Lynn,
the alternate.
And you're the alternate. Mhm.
okay. Item D, Greater Yuma Economic Development Corporation.
You and I.
You and I, let me ask, do they fall sometimes on the same meeting as the CSA, huh?
Uh-huh. We've asked them to move it.
Good morning.
I just, there's you and an alternate. And you guys-
We have two,
Oh.
or, yeah,
all of you go.
but we
But Alejandro's gonna start,
attend,
Attending too.
Attending too, so,
and we can, yeah.
yeah, we can alternate.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll be, okay,
Keep
so
it
we
the
have
same. Mhm.
Supervisor Lyons and Supervisor Porches on the GYEDC. Local Emergency Planning Committee.
I'll take that one.
That's Darren's.
Local Workforce Development Board Liaison.
Mhm.
You want to keep it?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Western Arizona Council of Governments Board.
me. I'll keep it.
That's Tony. You want to keep it?
Mhm.
Yuma Agricultural Water Coalition, Inc. That's you? Or who's?
Me.
Jonathan.
Jonathan? Yeah. You want it?
Yeah.
Still want it?
Yeah.
Yuma Crossing National Heritage Area Corporation?
That's me.
That's you?
You're gonna stay?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I'm trying to get a couple things. We got room.
Who are the current members of the Yuma Metropolitan Organization?
Who's the what?
Who are the current members of the Yuma Metropolitan Planning Organization?
I thought it was you and.
It's
It's-
Martine and
It's
Lynn,
Martine and Darren
but I'm
now.
gonna take it for the next year.
Yeah, he's gonna take it for the next year because they fall on the same day as,
What kind of action do you want?
CSA.
TSA.
You want us to make a motion to appoint him?
This is the chairman appointing.
This is number 4, clerk of the board, action to appoint.
Oh, number 4, okay. We'll
You
move on.
finished with Yuma Crossing Heritage.
We'll move on to item number 4, action to appoint members of the Board of Supervisors to the Yuma Metropolitan Planning Organization. And
That's what I was
that's,
asking.
oh, okay.
So
I think we've already done it.
And
I'm
that's-
going off and Darren's taking my place. Mhm.
I'll
You
make the
want-
motion.
You wanna,
Be a lot
you wanna be or what?
No. I just
Oh,
wanted to know
okay.
who it was. I think I did.
Yeah.
It's I mean, she's going off. If you want to go on and follow there.
Darren.
Darren can be it.
Darren, yeah, if Darren's on transportation for the chamber, he probably should be on YMPO. And the streets and the roads that we deal with, a lot of them are in your district, so.
Yeah, it's a good idea. It's a good way to move your projects ahead.
So that's that one then.
Mr.
So it's
Chairman, that
Martine
will
and-
require board action.
That one
Yeah.
will require.
I move that we appoint Martine Porteous and Darren Simmons to the Yuma Metropolitan Planning Organization.
I'll second that motion.
There's a motion and a second to appoint Supervisor Simmons and Supervisor Porches to YMPO. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'd like it back after the year, though.
And the meetings are 3.
3 to,
Yeah, 3
4:30
to
or
5
something.
on every third Thursday, yeah.
Moving on to item number 5, facilities management. Conduct a public hearing to allow the public to comment on the proposed repeal of the no firearms Yuma County Park rule. And item B, repeal the no firearms Yuma County Park rule effective January 16, 2025.
Good morning, Chairman Porteous, members of the board. Tiffany Anderson, Facilities Management Director. On June 24th, this board adopted the rules for all Yuma County parks. Under ARS Section 11935, which allows the board to make reasonable rules related to the preservation of public property, natural features and curiosities, or preservation of public health and safety. Those rules included a no firearms rule, which was later discovered after a community member brought it to our attention, that is unallowable under ARS Section 133108. Under ARS 133108H, any rule enacted in violation of that statute is invalid. And additionally, although the general intent of the no firearm rule was to preserve public health and safety, if repealed, there are still controlling state laws that are governing various acts related to a person's possession and use of a firearm. On November 13th, the Yuma County Parks and Recreation Advisory Commission considered the proposed repeal of the no firearms rule and voted to recommend repeal of the rule to this board due to the requirements under state statute. For all those reasons, today I am recommending that this board consider repealing the no firearm rule in its entirety.
Question, Chairman.
Go ahead.
Question, do we have anything to replace it? Do we have any rules left to enact? I mean, you said that there was other rules that apply in the behavior of people with guns in parks. Are they by statute already, or do we have to accept them?
Supervisor Reyes, there are state statutes already in place. They would be under, criminal law based on unlawful possession or use of a firearm. Fortunately, there are instructions on our park rules sign that to call our office. If it's an emergency, people know to call 911, and our sheriff's office will respond to those potential threats.
So basically, there's no need for us to do anything but repeal the rule that we said. We don't have to amend it or do anything, just repeal it.
Correct.
I feel naked, but
Get a gun.
yeah, well, naked with a gun.
Any other
Yeah.
Thank you. I'll open up the call to the public. Anybody from the public? Public hearing? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the board.
Mr. Chairman,
Let me ask a question. Do we have other policies for other places like libraries and stuff? That they don't need to be messed with?
Chairman Porches, Supervisor Reyes, there are statutes that govern the use or possession of firearm in a public building. I will defer to county attorney if they want to speak on that more broadly, but as you know, in most county facilities, we have a no firearms notice on the front door. And then we have lock boxes on the premises for individuals to safely store their firearms while conducting business in a county facility. To my understanding, there's no need to modify any of our existing rules
We
for
do have rules, right?
facilities.
So like, it doesn't change anything with the judge, with the justice centers or any other.
No, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, no, that was enacted back in 2001, I believe, when we started putting the lock boxes in with the notice, and it's worked ever since. For those are public buildings.
Okay, just want to make sure that we weren't impacting other public buildings.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we repeal the no firearms policy for Yuma County Parks.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second to repeal the no firearms. No firearms. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to engineering and discussion, possible action to provide direction regarding alternative for the Highway 95 and Avenue C intersection traffic signal. Frank?
Good morning, Chairman Porches, members of the board. Frank Sanchez, Director for Engineering. We're here to discuss some, I guess, some possible options for the design of that intersection of Highway 95 and Avenue C. Yuma County, through YMPO, submitted an application for HSIP funding to fund the traffic signal at the intersection of Highway 95 and Avenue C. We did secure approximately just a tad over $1 million for that construction of that signal. And on August 7th, 2023, the board signed off on the IGA. Subsequently, ADOT hired Kimley Horn and Associates to design the intersection. Here's a layout of the intersection. We got Highway 95, and we have Avenue C here, the alignment of Avenue C that turns into County 16th Street. As you can see, the Somerton Airport is just north of the intersection, and you can see a white line here. That's the pilot's target to land and depart on this line here. And we'll get into that a little bit more. So the design issues with this is that runway is right in the same alignment of the intersection. So the designer has approached us and told us we can't install the traffic signals because of the height of the poles, of the traffic signal poles. It interferes with the departure and approach angles to that runway. We had a meeting with the airport director, Eric Salzer, and they indicate they might be able to move that line a little bit, but in order to clear the poles and all existing infrastructure that's there, that white line would have to move approximately about 12 to 1,300 feet north, which essentially would render the runway unusable. Sorry about all these lines. Here's the plan, the top view of the intersection. Here's the profile. You can see this is Highway 95 along here. There's some existing power poles, an existing communication tower, and a billboard and some couple buildings. That would all fit within the regulated area for crashes from FAA. As it sits right now, this point is the white line that we showed earlier. So the departures and approaches from that line, you could see would interfere with the new traffic signal pole. Moving it further out, if we move that point a little bit further out, then we start on this envelope here, we start bringing in a lot of the other existing infrastructure that's there, which then creates more hazards.
Frank, can I
Yes.
stop you real quick, Mr. Chairman? Can we go back 2 slides? So it shows the alignment.
Oh, wow.
Why couldn't we just make the stop sign down further west, or the intersection further west?
Why couldn't we just make it
Right
up
there.
there?
Options you have.
Yeah.
And that is one of the options I'm going to go
I
through.
thought it was gonna come out later.
Okay, well, just, I mean, without having to mess with the airport, just bring it down there and be done with it.
Right.
Maybe too
right.
close to the edge of the mesa.
And so I'll get into that
All right.
option right now.
It's gonna be one of your options.
Okay. So next steps is to decide
Oh, I don't want to
No.
option 1.
No on
No,
one.
no roundabout.
roundabout.
And Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
can I go on the
brother.
record? Please don't ever bring us a roundabout.
Why not?
I know.
Ever.
I
Ever.
hate roundabouts.
Is there many essays on roundabouts or is it
Mr. Chairman, I'd
just,
like to make a motion that we ban all roundabouts from here on out.
I'll second.
No, okay, we got a motion and a second. Come on, call for the vote.
And especially no
They're
2 of them at one time.
Ever.
Oh, my
This is what's
gosh.
coming.
Let's go on the
You can
record. Let's put that
pass
in
on
the paper
that.
and the news. No roundabouts. We
Pass.
don't support them.
Not sure how that got in there.
That's good, good. You're learning. What office you
Oh,
gonna
no,
run
he
for?
already knows.
So going on to option number 2 is realign the intersection to the west of the Highway 95 and install the traffic signal, which is that option that you mentioned, Supervisor Lyons.
Okay.
The third option is realign the intersection to the east and install the traffic signal.
Oh,
Option number 4 is to cancel the project and reapply for in the next round of HSIP projects, reapply to include those improvements to realign that intersection. Because if we realign it now, the county is on the hook for those costs for the roadway improvements. We still have the money to install the traffic signal, but the roadway improvements would be on the county's responsibility.
Mr. Chair. Frank, what are our chances of getting that traffic light again?
It's very, very good. Right now, the
Excuse me.
the benefit cost ratio that we had when we applied was 19.6. If we include those improvements, it drops it down to about 8, which is still very good.
Okay.
You need to have it's 3? BC ratio? 2.5. Okay. You need to have a BC ratio of 2.5 in order to apply.
How far east would you have to go to realignment?
I'm going to get into that real quick.
Okay.
So,
No.
yeah.
Move on.
You went backwards, yes.
There it
Oh,
is.
there it is.
What's your problem with it?
There's West.
I mean, that's supposed to be the thing that's coming, guys. I
No.
mean, yeah.
We reject European engineering.
So here's the existing intersection.
Right.
Here's a preliminary layout of moving the intersection to the west.
Mhm.
You can see the envelope of the approaches and departures of the airport.
Yeah.
Safest.
Yeah, and so this is the least amount of improvements, roadway improvements, but we're still looking at a county responsibility of about 1.1 million. And we have to acquire a small portion of this parcel, which belongs to the Arizona state land, is a state land property. So we're looking at about $1.2 million of county funds to fund this.
Mr. Chair, would we have to buy the land, or would they?
We have to buy it from state land.
Okay.
But it's very small. It wouldn't be too expensive. The third option, moving the alignment to the east. to the east,
Mhm.
we have this layout, and the issue here is the Cocopah own from section line here to the east. So this intersection would completely be within their jurisdiction. So they would have to be in agreement that they would take this on. Preliminary conversations with their planning director is he wasn't quite sure if the board would be agreeable to taking that
Yeah.
in. The cost for this one, we're looking at $1.4 million. It's a little bit more work in that.
Which worked better for the airport?
Is there any issues with the proximity to the downgrade on the western portion?
The hill.
The hill, where the hill goes down? There may be some issues.
Here.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They looked at that.
No issues?
No issues.
And that's a simple choice.
Sorry?
Then it's a simple choice. It's just that now we need to choose whether we want to commit $1 million extra to make that.
Right.
Or if we want to wait and,
Or option number 4, which is
How long did it
to
take us to-
cancel the project.
uh-huh,
If we cancel the project, we would resubmit the application. The good thing is, I checked with ADOT and they indicated that the current design fees that we've incurred or that ADOT has incurred, the county would not be responsible to pay that back for this round. The ADOT call for projects would be in late 2025. Now here's the kicker. If awarded, if we do get that award, the design wouldn't be funded until fiscal year 30 with construction in fiscal year 32.
that road's gonna need to be 4 times as big as it is by that time.
No, that's just,
The application takes into account inflation, so.
What kind of growth are they looking
that's
at?
too long. I mean,
Yeah,
that
the funds.
is, I mean, needed like yesterday.
Yeah, it is.
That's been, I mean,
It's
it's,
going in the side
yeah.
already.
especially at this time of year, it's just, to get out of there, it's
horrible.
Yeah.
It's very unsafe.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I'm surprised that there hasn't been more accident, but there's been fatalities there and, I mean, accidents.
It's a matter
Well,
of finding
the
out,
funds.
how long would it take for you to find out what the additional cost would be of the redesign?
He's already done it.
Oh, no,
He
I was
just
talking
did
about the
it.
purchase of land and the redesign, I know it's gonna cost us $1 million more. But how long would it take you to get the land from the state? Because I know state land department is a slow poke. It'll take you a year to get them to agree to.
Oh,
any
yeah,
other
that's
one,
true.
so-
Yeah, it takes some time. They do require, now this is such a small amount of land. It's a very
It's a
small
process,
corner
man.
clip. They
You
might
buy
be
an
willing
inch,
to, they might be willing to do away with the biological and archaeological reports that they normally require. And so it's a matter of having a conversation with state land and finding out, hey, if this is something that it's so small that they might be able to expedite it.
If you expedite it, what, it would take you, what, a year? to get it up?
Probably less.
It won't be for sale?
They'll go through the same process.
That for sale.
Announcements and the
Yes.
appraisals and, it takes about a year to get anything processed through the state. The way they do it, if they don't ask for an archaeological
Right.
or something in there, and because it's so close to the Cocopah tribe land holdings, it may get a little tangled up. But still, that won't be 2032, it would be like more like 2025, 2026.
If we want to do the project now and the county pays for these improvements, right now the construction is programmed in fiscal year 26 next year, and so we would have a little bit of time to
Between 2
acquire
years
that.
from now. This is 24.
Well, we're in fiscal year 25 right now.
Yeah, we're working on 25 right now, so this would be 26. Yeah, but it wouldn't be all the way, it'd say 4 years.
So then,
I think,
No,
yeah.
it would stay on track to be
Mhm.
completed in fiscal year 26.
Mhm.
I mean, honestly, I think that's the route we should go. I mean,
Where is the
that
money
place,
coming
that
from?
area there, intersection, it's dangerous.
We need to find the funds somewhere.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Where are the funds coming from, Mr. Chair?
Well,
Mr. Chair, we do, I've looked at the CIP plan and
We can delay it.
there's other CIP projects, HSIP projects that are coming in over budget. And so I'm having to account for some of that money. And one of the areas that I'm looking at, if the board wishes, and to fund this project is to, I have 800,000 right now, big chunk of that in the Avenue E right-of-way acquisitions. As you're aware, we're applying for raise grant that would also cover that if we get awarded that. So I could move that to fiscal year 27 to have funds to be able to pay for these improvements in 26.
Oh, good.
We do it.
And if the raise grant, when will the raise grant, when will you know anything about the raise grant for the Avenue E?
The raise grant is due by January 31st of 2025. And so we usually hear a couple months after that.
Okay. Don't they have matching funds for the raise grant? No.
No.
So the 850 that you have plugged in for Avenue E can be transferred over to this intersection.
Yes.
And hopefully we'll get the raise grant.
So let the people that are waiting for Avenue E.
Okay.
Which is not kind.
but I think, yeah, I think that's probably the route to go. I mean, obviously Avenue E would take a longer time anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, this intersection desperately needs that,
Yeah,
traffic
up there
light.
on that mesa, yeah. Yeah.
But I think everything points out to the option that to realign it to further west.
To the west.
And that
Okay.
whatever the cost is, to begin the process of acquisition of right-of-ways from the state and see where that goes when it goes out to bid. Because sometimes you're surprised. Sometimes the bid comes a little lower. We already have it, do we?
What option are we
For
looking
Avenue
at?
B, I mean, I know those bids don't hold longer than maybe 3 months. You haven't gone out to bid yet?
For
the intersection poles right now.
Oh no, it hasn't gone out to bid. It's still under the design, and that's why the issue came up during design, that there was a conflict, and that's why we're here.
Who's doing? I'm just kind of surprised that it took that long for them to realize that was something that was gonna an issue. Yeah.
Yeah, well, they were still in the preliminary 30-60% stages. They didn't get to the final design.
You know, Frank, honestly, and just, I mean, obviously engineers have their opinion, but I don't think I've ever seen a plane taking off to the south there from that runway. I mean, I drive that road every day, twice on Sunday or 3 times. But honestly, there's no. I've never seen a plane taking off south. They're all landing from the south.
They're gonna do that when the traffic signal's on.
Yeah, there's those poles there.
So like I said, we've met with Eric, the director, and he's here too if you have any questions. But he's indicated that the planes do approach land northbound, and he's indicated that they've nicked those power lines a couple of times, and they're students. They're
learning.
So that kind of raises a red flag.
Yeah, no, I mean, hey, it's I'm glad that there's an alternative. So, but yeah, it just, I mean, I haven't seen one in a long time. If they do take off to this.
It depends on wind direction. If the wind's going north, that's the way. If it's going south, that's the way they.
Depends on one direction the group.
All right. Well, do we need a motion on this?
Yeah. Which option was the west option? Option B.
That was option 2.
Option 2.
Yeah.
I move that we look at have Frank continue with option B
Two?
Two.
I mean, option 2, same as B.
I see.
A,
Just
B,
making sure.
number 2, yeah. Yeah. I move that we use option B.
You want to second that in your district?
Yeah, I'll second that.
Over a little bit.
for the
Right
chairman
at the
then.
entrance
There's a
there.
motion and a second,
I just want to get it going.
to go with option 2, realign intersection to the west. All those in favor say aye.
I just have
Aye.
a quick question.
One more question?
I just had a quick question. Looking at the alignment, is there any way we can move it a little bit east without interfering to where it lines up to that west entry? If you look at the airport, there's a west entry.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, well, if you go to a different slide.
Well, this is a good slide here. You can see the,
Be outside of the, that runway zone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what I was looking at was this entry here.
Yeah, that's the one that
It's
he's.
not really an
pointing.
entry, that's just,
it's a
Yuma
small
County.
driveway.
Is okay, because looking at the picture, it shows it paved in one of them. Oh, the roundabout one, it shows it as a paved entrance, so. Anyway, I just didn't know if it might make it easier.
It's a driveway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just didn't know if it'd make it
The
easier.
sudden elevation and the cars backed up, because,
That's
you
like
know,
County 14.
yeah, that's why. That's not making, two wrongs don't make a right, but, you know, no, I'm just concerned with cars lining up, waiting to go across that and coming up the hill.
Oh,
They'll
There was a
look
pole.
at those line of sights and ensure they're,
So this one's been assured that it's not a conflicting situation.
so that those people who are training to be pilots don't run into the cars that are in the line of, at the stop sign? Is that what you're trying to say?
Why don't we just close the Somerton Airport?
So there was a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Frank.
thank you.
We want it by next week.
Wait, let them wait till after Christmas. Let's share that.
That's gonna be tough.
Moving on to planning and zoning agenda. Full legal descriptions of property sites for all rezoning cases are available for public view at the Yuma County Board of Supervisors office. Zoning reversion public hearing in accordance with section 404.01 I-7 of Yuma County zoning ordinance. The board will conduct a hearing to grant an extension of time to comply with the schedule for development, determine compliance with the schedule for development, or cause the property to revert to its former zoning classification in the following case. Item number 1, rezoning case number 22-16.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board.
Morning.
Javier Barraza, Senior Case 2216. The applicant has requested an extension of 3 years. This is the vicinity map showing the subject parcel close to the center. This is outlined in red is the planning to divide it into 5. They need more time to comply with the schedule for development. And this is an aerial. And staff recommends to the board to grant an extension of time 3 years to comply with the schedule for development. And the agent is here if you have any questions. That concludes my presentation.
Any questions for
Mr. Chair,
Javier?
I move that we
I'm gonna
rezone.
open up the public
Oh,
hearing. and-
okay,
and
go
then-
ahead.
So, thank you, Javier. I'll open up the public hearing. Anybody from the public? Seeing none, bring it back to the board.
I move rezoning case number 22-16 be approved.
I'll second it.
There's a motion and a second to recommend extending the extension. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Javier.
Thank you.
Moving on to legislative issues. Alejandro.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, good morning. Alejandro Figueroa, Economic Development and Intergovernmental Affairs Director. So the new legislative session is just around the corner. It starts Monday, January the 13th.
Yeah.
And here's a couple of things we can expect for the first week. That same day, the session will open with legislators and their invited guests gathering on the House floor. Later on, the governor will present her annual State of the State address. And then that Friday, January 17th, the executive budget will be published, which outlines the governor's budget priorities. Bills will begin to be published in high volumes because of bill introduction deadline of February 10th, and committees are not likely to meet the first week of the session. So 15 bills have been published already. An estimated 1,600 to 1,800 are still to be published. Not all these bills will get committee hearings, and typically only 300 plus, around 300, make it fully through the legislative process. And with a Democrat governor and Republican legislature, we can expect to see a high volume of vetoes again this upcoming session. So 2 bills that I wanted to bring to your attention, Mr. Chair, members of the board. It's the first one sponsored by President Peterson, Senate President Peterson, SB 1013, which prohibits a common council or county board of supervisors from imposing or increasing any assessment, tax, or fee without a 2/3 vote of the governing body. It stipulates that municipalities or counties' ability to do such, provided that 2/3 vote authorizes the imposition or increase in any assessment, tax, or fee is not subject to further regulation by the applicable municipality or county. This would essentially mean that the Board of Supervisors would have to obtain 4 out of 5 votes. And it could be perceived as an overstep on counties and municipalities by the state.
And 3 county boards would have to have 2 out of 3. Whew.
The other one,
Yeah.
also sponsored by President Peterson, SB 1011. It would eliminate the practice of depositing voted early ballots on election day. The legislation wouldn't expand on site early voting to the Saturday and Monday before the election, and limit election day drop-off of voted early ballots to the office of the recorder or other officer in charge of elections. Finally, it will require an on-site early voter to present identification and sign an early voting certificate, which would consequentially allow the ballot to bypass the early election board. Early election vote check of the early votes mail ballot affidavit. So those are the 2 bills that have already been dropped and are sponsored by the Senate's president that I would like to bring to your attention and welcome any feedback.
Mr. Chair and Alejandro, at CSA meeting, I brought up Senate Bill 1011 that maybe there needs to be an amendment so that people can drop them off at the polling sites, but they have to produce a ID, just like if you were, and you'd have to get in line just like everybody else, and produce your ID and then drop off your ballot, so that you could still drop off your ballot at the polling places, but on election day, but you would, but you'd have to stand in line like everybody else.
The problem that I have with every one of these things is that it doesn't make it any easier, it just makes it more tough. But you don't ask anybody for ID when they send it through the mail, so what's the point of asking people when they take it to the polling place? It's actually overreach. What we need to do is put in more deposit boxes in places, or open up more voting sites. We need to make it easier for people.
Tony,
I would agree to go back to more voting sites.
We're the only county that doesn't have more than 1 early voting site.
That's what I mean. We need to work on ways to make it easy for people. But
I found that out at ACO conference.
Limiting the delivery of early ballots on election day helps in the counting process, but it doesn't help in the accessibility factor.
Mr. Chairman, I agree with Tony, but might we go back to pre-implementation of the vote centers to look at turnout in the precinct type voting?
I hate precincts.
I understand. I'm not talking about just doing it by precincts. I'm just talking about the locations. Because there's a few that we eradicated, or not eradicated, but we got rid of.
We need more.
We need more, but to strategically place them.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, it may be better if we agendize this topic for further discussion at a future meeting.
You're presenting us with the possible bills, so we can look at it. Just looking at it, I don't think it makes it any easier. I think it makes it tougher. It just goes the other way for me. This is just a way of requiring identification at the polls. which you don't do with early voting, which I think maybe we need to deal with sometime, but this is not the way I would deal with it. It just makes certain people are subject to this, not everybody. So I don't.
You can still turn in your ballot. You have to do it at the recorder's office and show ID
See, that's
on
the
election
point.
day.
If it's bad enough, if it's lying enough. I mean, the thing is.
Go ahead.
Did seek out feedback from elections on this specific bill.
And,
Haven't heard back yet.
okay.
Perfect.
See what you started.
I just brought it up. We brought it up. It's okay. We'll put it in the agenda when an action needs to be done.
I agree.
Okay, so moving on to federal, USDA announced $78.3 million in partially forgivable loans for clean energy projects through the Powering Affordable Clean Energy, also known as PACE program, to help lower electricity bills for households, expand reliable access to renewable energy, and create jobs for rural families, small businesses, and agriculture producers. The funding for USDA's PACE program is from the Inflation Reduction Act. Also, the Senate passed a bipartisan bill introduced by Senators Kelly, Cassidy, Schmidt on the Republican side to expand access to job counseling services for Gold Star and surviving spouses. The Gold Star and Surviving Spouses Career Services Act increases access to job counseling services for spouses of service members who died while serving in the military and this is through the Disabled Veterans Outreach Program. Lastly, on the international and border affairs update, President-elect Donald Trump selected Ron D. Johnson, a former U.S. Army Green Beret and diplomat, as his choice for U.S. ambassador to Mexico. Johnson previously served as a U.S. ambassador to El Salvador in 2019 during Trump's first term as president, which brought decades of experience from a career in the military and the Central Intelligence Agency. That would conclude my presentation to the board, Mr. Chairman.
Any questions for Alejandro? Thank you, Alejandro.
And based on your appointment, welcome to the Radio and Port Authority. I got a couple of things to report on that.
Calendars and current events. Supervisor Pancrase.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm just kidding.
No, yeah, thank you, I'm done, yeah, okay. I met with the new economic development person at the city and had a nice conversation with her. I attended the Julep Joint Committee meeting regarding the Marine base. I attended the ACO annual conference as I'm on the ACO board as president of CSA, so I planned with Craig Sullivan for my first meeting, and then that night I attended the Small Counties dinner and meeting. I ran my first meeting as CSA president, and then I went back to the ACO conference and attended some of it in the afternoon and went to the ACO president's dinner that night. And then tomorrow we have long-term planning. So, yeah. So those are the things. I was in Phoenix most of the week, so.
Thank you. Supervisor Lyons.
Participated in the Yuma County Food Bank annual dinner. The Farm Bureau, I hosted the Young Ranchers and Farmers Saturday morning. Had several meetings with Ian regarding multiple issues for constituents. Had a couple meetings regarding water here in the county. Participated in Amberley's Place board meeting and the Medium Caucus and the full CSA meeting virtually.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. To support our new president.
Thank you, thank you.
Attended the town of Welton Christmas, Yuma's Christmas celebration, Somerton Library's Christmas.
A Santa Claus or yourself?
I think you dress up more than I do.
Election Advisory Board also had the honor of grading the Welton School Science Fair for sixth, seventh, and eighth graders.
Oh, Eureka.
Had PSPRS meeting, LEPC meeting, Walton WACOG Christmas, and had an interesting meeting with most of the county school superintendents, along with Tim Dunn and somebody from, I can't remember his name, from state education, reference to funding issues and the lawsuit for the East County districts, Antelope and Dayton, why that happened and what we need to do to rectify it. That's about it.
Supervisor Reyes?
Oh, I attended everything and met with everybody, but, the important part that I think we need to talk about a little bit, maybe further on, is that new port of entry and how it's going and the Mexican response to it. There's the GSA still assuring us that port of entry will be done, completed late 26, early 26, in 26. But they are not sure exactly how the Mexicans are going to handle their side. Mexicans are saying they will be ready, and they say that you tell us where and we'll have it done. And it's just an old Mexican, an old Mexican cell saying, you get it done, we'll meet you there. But in our experience, that's not necessarily a commitment of funds. It needs to be a little more clear than that. And for us to be comfortable, I'm afraid that we will invest $350 million on something that's not going to be ready on the other side to be implemented. We had a meeting with the more important players, called the Vision Group, but it's actually logistics. We still don't have an assigned USDA entomologist to San Luis.
Oh, we still don't?
And I keep hearing the same thing. It's just the guy doesn't want to be bothered to be in San Luis. He wants to be in Yuma. It's not a new problem, but it's a problem that's getting old, just talking about it. So the majority of the discussions I've had lately have been about the coordination between the Mexicans and the Americans on the port of entry. Keep you guys posted. I guess we got a meeting of the Greater Yuma Port Authority pretty soon. The Greater Yuma Port Authority pretty soon. We'll keep you posted on that.
Had the last elections committee meeting last week. Said farewell to Richard. And it's back to the board, the elections director. Had a meeting attended a meeting with Forefronted. And they're talking about maybe going to a meeting or meeting Mexican elected officials, but on the state and federal level, see, hopefully we can talk about the port too. And attended the council meeting in San Luis, and gave Matias Rosales and Gloria Torres a recognition from the county, and said farewell to them.
Mr. Chairman, I forgot one thing. The APS president was here last week at AWC, and he held a very, very informative session, half a day session, that I think is pretty interesting in certain ways. I think there's a lot of misconception, misunderstanding about solar. There's a lot of misunderstandings about how APS handles their emergencies. It'd be nice to have a copy of that, available for the rest of the board, so they can actually read some of the stuff, because it was a long meeting, but it was very useful. I just wanted to let you know so that Alejandro can actually make a little summary of what happened, because I think it's important.
Did it convince you that the rates are going to go higher?
It convinced me that the nuclear option is not that problem. Palo Verde is up and running very quick.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Attended the Arizona County Insurance Pool meeting, the County Managers Association meeting, Arizona City County Management Association Board of Directors meeting, the final meeting of the Elections Advisory Committee, Forefront ED meeting, YSIPTA Personnel Committee meeting, the orientation for new elected officials, which went really well, I think. Quarterly administration staff meeting, participated in the final session of the year-long Arizona City County Management Association ACMA Management Academy, hosted the annual Harvard fundraising luncheon for ACMA, and as Supervisor Pancrazi and I think Chairman Porteous mentioned, just a reminder, tomorrow's long-term planning roundtable, 9 a.m. at the main library. Thank you.
All right. Happy holidays.
Yes, Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Yes.
See you in 25.
Yes.
Yeah.